Embers Relics by MindsGaming. Great artifacts. Left in the story, solid and true, used only to tell a tale or two. A way to journey, to get through. Just use it to tip hats among the brew. Perhaps one day it'll hang on another story's frame, waving tides and tipping hats, not even knowing where it sat. A sharpened sword with feather tack, or left in place just where it's at. Portal to another ink-filled cap. Just a note, no stories to lack. Setting pace or sitting back, the historic view of mythic sap. Growing roots, not taking naps. Oh, to stories with great artifacts. The kettle. On the bottom level, the most inner circle, laid a brass kettle, black, not purple. It sat left of the fallen throne, poured by death and death alone. Its purpose clear, a weighted glass, weighing souls as they passed. Each cup measured one's ghostly tasks, until death grew weary one day at last. So death took his kettle and his cups, walked 10 floors going up, ended upon a mountain with all his stuff, and started to walk among the brush. It said he still walks the paths, his kettle and cups in his grasp, and one day he may just ask your soul as tea into his waiting glass. Sticks and stones. At the bottom of a kettle pot lays sticks and stones. They crackle and pop. Without flames they keep hot. And once an egg hatched atop, the shell steeped a fossil crop. Over time the sticks and stones, they turned into rock, stronger by lots. With sticks and stones you grow bones, an ancient wand or a stable home, a magic stew or bridges to roam, a kettle fire for a tearful foam. Thanatos' hat. If it's tales of myth with tack, I'll weave one right from Thanatos' hat, the one that sits, perfect, death's mindful clack. On top of a mountain, that's where death sat. Death walked into town, the rustling of eternal fact. Met a fairy of a muse, had a wedding cap. Death's son was born, no mythic nap. His name meaning, unwritten godly map, and death's son walks among the sap. His story building slowly as ink runs dry. Ah, the soulless hat. The egg. Above the atmosphere it glows. Now time calls them galaxy rows. Yet time has secrets, it told me so. Once called an egg for class and show. A galaxy hatched from its abode. It birthed a solar system where we row. Flew unto earth, breathing life we know. Left an egg for class and show. Chickens hatched ages ago, and now the riddle you do know. What came first before it was so? The galaxy is just an egg in a row. A chicken laid our egg, you know. Inside a kettle the egg did grow. With mystic sticks and soulful tricks, the universe the kettle did trick. The egg would be a mythic wick, set in stone and minds like sticks. How to make a dragon egg tick. That's the egg we are writing with. The song. Death heard a note, oh yes, he did. It bounced off his ear without a kid, leaving Death with such a reaper's wig, stuck in his soul like a cobweb swig. Death looks up, Death looks down, Death searches for it all around. Yet no one he asks hears a sound as they run and rush around. Until the children play in town, then they stop, hearing the ground. Feet running, arms lunging, laughter buzzing, wind blowing, leaves rustling. They watch the sounds and the fussing. Games at play, notes of something, and enjoy the song with all its hustling. Death awaits and hears nothing, unless your time is ready, buzzing. Your own face unfriendly, crusting. Death asked for notes, you told him nothing. A tree's cane. Father Time, a lonely man, only other gods truly understand. He twiddles his thumbs and sips his tea, waits and waits for nothing to be, making Death want some time for free. So Death talked to Father Time over some tea, then plucked a branch from the life of a tree, whittled it down with his fingernails, you see, making a cane for Father Time with glee. Part of his soul and will into the tree. A convincing ploy, a friendly plea. Father Time accepted that cane kindly. Now Death uses Father Time's essence for free, pulling it from the cane soulfully. Death stops life like a timeless tree. Metal still ash. A silent man with a cane, he often enjoyed the rain. Pulling his till, harvesting wheat, a metal still for something sweet. The still was plain, steel, mundane, until the gods sent down some rain. Used to brew tea with sugar corn. It fell into a kettle, keeping a dragon warm. The dragon grew and flew back, burnt down the metal still at that. In the soil, the still's ashes sat. The liquid inside sank into the sap. The fire roared, Death heard the clap. The tea he drinks in every time lapse. Death's crafted cane, his fingernails cracked. He killed the man, yet the locket he lacked. Mother's mushroom. Nature, with her gentle wind, her violent gust, her breaking breeze, she enjoys the sun in resting leaves. Her every breath reaches land and seas. Not a god, not eternal, never bound, forged a mushroom into the ground. With love and nurture magic was found. Earthly gods feasted from its fleshy crown. It stole some essence from everyone and rooted it in the earth just for fun, making them desire, cower, and run. Ah, what's a god without an earthly sum? Then to every god she gave a treat, lightning, fire, and sea. To man she gave the mushroom in glee, opening their eyes to the magic they see. Nothing from her comes without a fee. A piece from the chess. Ah, the outliner, a story's muse, something a relic couldn't even do. A moment of time, an act so true, just a moment to start the brew. For every pawn in every piece, inside the game tucked a little story, not of the mythic and the brash, just the time friendship has. The part of the game that doesn't fit, the start of the story that made it well equipped. So don't just sit at the table, bring out the board. Make your moves sound and sure, for it's the only piece not tied to law. Something stronger, a more magical core. The first move is yours forevermore. A simple flask. A thief in the dead of night took a flask from a grave one night. Nothing special nor astound, what he did with it made the sound. Filling it up with a special ground, steeping it in magic still unfound. Not knowing his blunder, death in town. Death aimed for the head and took him down. A sip of life taken inbound. The flask that trapped his soul was found. The thief that stole forever engrounded, making owners a shadow, silent, stealth all around. Into death's kettle the flask, safe and sound. Every thief would kill for its grasp, aim for the head to keep it and last. Yet, to sip it or fill it to the brim, death would find you and kill you, my friend. Crafting blueberry bows. A young, beautiful lady, not boastful but kind, a blueberry farmer with a craftsman eye. She made the finest tools in the shed, turning lead into steel instead. She could find a little old twig, craft an unbreakable knife or wand in a swig. She melted down diamonds and gold, knit them into a sword, light as a crow. Stitch and weave cowhide as a cloth, cloaks invisible, stronger than any dragon you'd cross. Skills only Father Time could match. Planted a seed from the cane of death, whittled it into the tree of life with just her breath. In our story she once thrived, the best craftsman ever, blueberries cry. Jack, her son, made her older, sunken eyes, yell and shout in pride. Tried teaching Jack her magic so proud. Death found them both yelling in pride. So loud they died. the bar stool. Somewhere in the mortal world, inside a tavern they called a bar, sat a very mortal man playing chess from afar. Everyone in the town would come to play and spar. The man, he wasn't good at chess. His skills seemed sloppy and a mess. Yet he had never lost his breath playing chess at that tavern of a bar. The town didn't care of his skill. It wasn't the chess or his tactical will. It was his stories that they thrilled, taking his pieces at that tavern of a bar. For every piece you would take, a story he whispered to you, they say. Tales of legend and myth as you play, and death heard just a whisper one day. Death rode into town on his steed to play, sat on a stool across from that man, they say. He spun the board and waited that day. The first move Death never played. That mortal man moved his knight, parlay. The game was off and then away. Death, so tactical with each piece he did lay, that mortal man looked as if he couldn't even play. The battle was on, the war was lost. Death, so tactical, capturing every piece he crossed. Each time that mortal man whispered to Death across a tale of death, mythic and lost. When Death mated the mortal man's king, the man whispered a tale with an earring. Death, amused, grabbed onto the dream. Death entered that myth like a seam. Yet, when he landed, it wasn't what it seemed. Trapped in a tale, deeper in means, next to a fallen throne, dark as his king, Death made the first move, and Father Time did sing. A full beer. Back in the mortal world we are, a tourist just passing through. On the way to the beach, his vacation due, stopped in an inn they called a bar for a brew. The bar was old and grim, tattered, worn down and dark within, yet every local had suggested it to him. He took a deep breath and walked right in. He walked to the counter and sat at the bar, sat on a stool older than him by far. The bartender smiled, tried to pour a glass, not that the man had ever once asked. Yet, no matter how hard he pulled the tab, the liquid stood still, frozen lines gone bad. Oh, what an unlucky day he did have. So he stood and tipped his hat, thanked the bartender for the full beer he never grabbed. He tripped and fell, tipping his hat, ran into table, knocked over a board. Pawns, knights and kings flew, scattered the floor. He apologized again and again as he walked out the door. The tab unfrozen, a full beer forever poured. A fresh stream. Once a tavern or inn, a bar dark and grim, runs a fresh stream of water that leads to a well. The stream also reaches a fresh lake as well, and the lake reaches the ocean's swell. The lake has a monster, they say. The well is full of souls at play. The ocean is as endless as time, Yet behind the bar a stream we find. The stream, well, an essence of all, flowing solid and true to the call. It is nothing any myth has seen, no tricks, rules, or pride to be. It's forever a raven, flying so free, under the realms in a world most can't see, quilled with the ashes of legends still to be, along the bones of death, to his rivers and the seas. Two trees stumped. Yes, come on, let's take a walk. It's been a long time. Yes, let's talk. As we go, we can count the leaves, gather every acorn, capture the breeze. We can head to the bar for a drink, pick a mushroom, gather cheese in a wink, have some tea and think of the seas. So much we could write using these trees. We could sit as toads on a stool. I'll summon 2 stumps and a brew. You can pick. Me, I'll take the other. Light up a spliff, my brother. One is made of malice and pride, the other made of love and death inside. Where I sit, you choose the stars above. Then we'll weave like a mossy fuzz, the forest, the leaves, the acorns, the bees. They will tell our stories just like the breeze. Yet, be wary and wise, each and every story has eyes. Deeper you go? Well, keep that page between you and I. And between you and me, I'd rather go fishing down by the lake, pull a rope and troll away. Just 2 stumps, what do you say? Shall we sit, pull out its pieces and game? Just keep walking along the path in the rain? Explore the roots, what they say? We can always brew them up another day. The scarecrow stands next to the well. Yes, the scarecrow stands among the pumpkins so very well. He stands and stands, hung in a spell, next to the well, a well as deep as a well. And the well, so very deep as well, stands next to the scarecrow as well. The scarecrow stands next to a house as well, the house the scarecrow knows so very well. Where the house comes from he guards so very well. Many stories and fairies have tried breaking his spell, tornadoes, witches and wizards as well. All have it wrong. The scarecrow knows so very well. Under, not over, a rainbow deep as a well, the scarecrow stands, hung in time like a spell. It wasn't a witch or a wizard, he knows so very well. The souls in the well, they tell. They tell the scarecrow how he hung by a rope so very well. Tail with an earring. In a realm of mythic legends and lore, Death rode into town like a white knight once more, to save a little girl given such a fright. The scarecrow whispered to her that night. The scarecrow gave her such a scare, she dropped her locket without a care. It fell into a well as deep as it goes, and Death helped her out in tow. Like the shining knight that he was, he fetched a rope and helped, just because. He sent the rope down the well. pulling out the locket just as well. Death captured that locket for her in a spell. She was thankful as a singing bird, gave him her earring, sound and sure. They talked all night without any law. When the morning sun came back, Death stood up and left with the girl's heart attached, and the earring in his pocket that matched. And that's the time a little girl helped Death. The locket's memento. Father Time, a wise man, quilled Death a gift, a locket, my friend. It ticked and tocked as well as a pen, written in every timeline again and again. The locket is perfect, exact. It never misses a moment, in fact. In any realm, it knows where you're at. No matter your will, it always keeps track. Inside the locket, a moment of act. A piece of wood, a cane Death once crafted. And no matter Death's haste or path, Death can never reach Father Time's grasp. So Father Time sits and sips tea, twiddles his thumbs, waiting and free. A wise man, writing with glee. Only Death would say he is lonely. Eat a worm. In a time before it ticked or tocked, Father Time was still making clocks, lived a worm under the oldest tree inside a pumpkin, blueberry, or acorn seed. The tree stood as tall as a tree, inside a forest or garden to be. Mother Nature plucked fruit from that tree, bit into a worm like a bad apple seed. Mother Nature, being so kind, spit out the worm to save its rind. It wiggled and swiggled into the dirt just fine, sprouted a mushroom, worm of a fungi. The other half most forget exists. Yes, she bit that worm in two, I insist. Half the worm grew in the fruit she bit. What would we be if she had swallowed it?